Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Yesterday, Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell held here the latest in a series of public lectures featuring members of his Economic Advisory Panel. It's a very prestigious panel. They're designed to open up Labour's policy making and break away from Westminster-dominated views of the economy. The speaker was the Nobel Prize-winning economist Joseph Stiglitz, and we send our Adam along to ask some penetrating questions.
I'm going back to university, in fact, the Shadow Chancellor's old university, to find out what it's like on his new economics tour. Today's special guest, Professor Joseph Stiglitz, advisor to Bill Clinton, Nobel Prize winner, and according to Wikipedia, the 5th most influential economist in the world. He talked for really quite a long time, but the gist is that the 1950s was the golden age of capitalism, especially in the US, and that inequality's been getting much worse ever since.
The median income of a full-time male worker today is the same as it was 40 years ago. So that means for 4 decades, young men have not seen any increase in their income. This in a country that says every generation is going to be doing better than the next.
He reckons these two deserve the blame for helping the rich to get richer in the hope that everyone would benefit.
If Reagan or Thatcher had gone, Reagan had come to the American people and said, I have this great idea, this reform. Everybody's in favor of reforms. I have this great idea, this great reform, the result of which is that the economy is going to grow more slowly, but don't worry about it. All the growth that does occur will go to the top 10%. And if you happen to be so poorly informed that you choose to be on the bottom 90%, you're going to see stagnant. If you choose to be in the bottom 50%, you're going to see your income decline. Would the American people have voted for that idea?
And he's written a whole book about how the rules of the economy need to be totally rewritten.
One of the things that have gone wrong in our economy is the growth of short-termism, that firms are focused on the next quarter. Many of our stock market firms are focused on the next nanosecond. Now, you can't invest in people, for technology, in machines, for long-term economic growth if you're focused on the nanosecond or even in the next quarter.
It was very high-fibre stuff for a fairly highbrow audience. Oh, and me.
Are you guys Butch and Sundance, Holmes and Watson, Batman and Robin?
See, we're trying to raise the level of debate from that.
Does that not count?
No, it doesn't. But what's interesting is just the quality of the discussions that have been taking place have just been astounding. Literally, young people in particular, have been flocking to these meetings and really with an understanding of society and also with ideas, buzzing with ideas for the future.
The Prof is heading back to his ivory tower, following in his footsteps on Labour's tour, the soon-to-be ex-economics editor of Channel 4 News, Paul Mason, and the former Greek finance minister, Yanis Varoufakis.
That was our Adam, not raising the level of debate. We're joined now by another member of Labour's Economic Advisory Committee, Professor Anastasia Nezvatailova, and she's Director of the Political Economy Research Centre at City University in London. Welcome to the programme. Can you give us any idea yet what kind of policies the committee is suggesting Mr Corbyn and Mr McDonnell should adopt?
Well, the concrete content of policies is still being discussed and developed, and the content of these meetings is confidential.
Any idea of the direction?
Correct. What I can say is that we are on the same page in developing a more strategic role for the state, for a more balanced economy, for a more balanced UK economy, and for an economic system that is able and has the resources to withstand short-term and long-term economic risks and uncertainties.
And give me an example of how you would do that.
Well, there are two very tangible risks to UK economy at present. The short-term and very urgent is Brexit. That can lead to a lot of losses and very little gains. A long-term or medium-term danger is a potential financial meltdown that comes not from the traditional banking sector, but from the part of the financial system that is in so-called shadows, the shadow banking system or non-bank financial intermediation. And the problem is that although there is an understanding that these are risks, and the overall economic environment globally is very pessimistic for 2016, monetary and fiscal authorities don't have the resources to help the economy grow through a potential meltdown.
Is the Advisory Committee united in urging the Labour Party to keep Britain in the European Union?
Yes, we're on the same page. I personally would have liked to see a stronger engagement with the country wider about the risks and losses from Brexit. But yes, I think Labour...
Because I saw here that Joseph Stiglitz, who we had there, he was saying that if the EU signed up to TTIP, which is the North Atlantic, the free trade agreement that the EU and the USA are in the process of negotiating, though I've not yet agreed, that the UK should consider Brexit.
Correct. Well, there is a hypothetical sentence in that particular statement, but I profoundly disagree with Nobel Prize winner Joseph Stiglitz on that.
You're allowed to disagree with the Nobel
Absolutely.
Prize winner.
Thank you. I think it's a misreading of what the European project is, of what the value of UK economy in this total big market and bigger construction is, and it severely underestimates the costs, the risks and the consequences of a Brexit. It's
so
a real
even
danger.
with TTIP, even with the North Atlantic free trade arrangement, you would still urge that we stay in?
Yes.
Is the Labour leadership open to new ideas? Are they soaking up everything you're telling them?
Eminently so. Eminently so. The format of the meetings varies. There are large, with members of parliament sitting there, and it's an open discussion on a variety of topics. Then there are some more specialized topical debates or analysis of a particular issue. And there are also public events which we take part in terms of giving insight or educating the public on post-austerity
Which is one of the things
economics.
that we
Exactly.
saw. We've only got a few seconds left. What is speaking just for yourself, not for the advisory committee, what's the one policy you would, of all others, you would urge Labour to adopt in this area?
Strategic role for the state, investment in people and infrastructure, rebalancing the financial economic divide.
That's an aspiration. It's not a policy.
It is, but with this aspiration comes a concrete set of institutions.
And you have them to give to Labour as
together, yes.
Okay. When will we see all the delivery? When will we get a report? You know, we love reports.
You have
here.
to ask them.
All right. We will. Professor, thank you.
Thank you.
I've been getting away with it all